We begin this Wednesday with events that have once again revealed the depths of political and social division within the United States. It's a new day here as Democrats, Republicans and their respective supporters navigate the fallout from the Supreme Court leak. A draft opinion suggesting the court is on the verge of overturning the landmark 1973 Roe Vs Wade decision on abortion. Senate Democrats say they will try to hold a vote as early as next week in what many believe will be a futile effort to write abortion rights into federal law. President Biden urged Congress to provide abortion with federal legal protection for the first time, and reports suggested that the White House has been preparing for such a move for months.
If the rationale of the decision as released were to be sustained, a whole range of rights are in question, a whole range of rights. And the idea we're letting the states make those decisions, localities make those decisions, would be a fundamental shift in what we've done. So it goes far beyond, in my view, if it becomes a law and if what is written is what remains. It goes far beyond the concern of whether or not there is the right to choose. It goes to other basic rights, the right to marry.
Meanwhile, Republicans are considering the role abortion will play in their midterm poll messaging. If Roe vs. Wade is struck down, it will energize many grassroots Republican supporters in the South. But it could add to the party's challenges winning the votes of suburban women, particularly in many northern states. And they are considered key to success for either party this November. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, a Democrat, decried the leaked Supreme Court draft and vowed legislative action to protect women's rights.
It is hard not to feel angry, troubled, and deeply disturbed about what overturning Roe would do to women across America. It is our intention for the Senate to hold a vote on legislation to codify the right to an abortion in law. Second, a vote on this legislation is no longer an abstract exercise. This is as urgent and as real as it gets. We will vote to protect a woman's right to choose, and every American is going to see which side every senator stands on.
But it's the leak that has focused considerable attention and speculation here. It is an extraordinary breach of the Supreme Court's norms of confidentiality. And while it's not unprecedented, it is a threat to the legitimacy and integrity of the judicial branch of the American government. The initial shock of the leaked Supreme Court draft opinion about abortion has sparked both uproar and debate. Some Americans have begun reflecting on how their own lives might change after the law gets overturned. Many took to the streets to express their fury at the Supreme Court. Right here in Washington, D.C., pro- and anti-abortion protesters faced off with chants, prayers and signs outside the U.S. Supreme Court. Demonstrators grew from dozens of people to hundreds, voicing a mix of support for and against the apparent Supreme Court decision to strip abortion of constitutional protections that have kept the procedure legal from coast to coast for half a century.
What do we do? Stand up, fight back! Life is a lie! You don't care if people die! Pro-life is a lie! You don't care if people die!
U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts, a left-wing progressive within the Democratic Party on Capitol Hill, also joined hundreds of protesters outside the Supreme Court, and she labelled its Republican-appointed justices extremists.
My name is Elizabeth Warren, and I'm madder than hell. I'm madder than hell because an extremist United States Supreme Court, 5 people, think that they can dictate to tens of millions of women across this country the decisions that are our decisions about our lives. They think that they are wrong.
In Washington state, on America's West Coast, politicians and dozens of demonstrators gathered at Kerry Park in Seattle to express their opposition to the apparent planned move. Governor Jay Inslee said Washington is a pro-choice state and that they will fight to keep things that way.
We're going to fight like hell to keep Washington a pro-choice state.
Sure that Seattle, we won't back down. We won't get turned around. You can back us up to the gates of hell, and we will not back down.
This radical majority of the Supreme Court has no respect for precedent, no respect for women and the freedoms that now 2 generations of people have grown up believing are settled law. Then let's be clear that we can't trust the Supreme Court on any decision we thought was settled.
In New York, crowds came out to protest at a rally held in Lower Manhattan, and there were similar demonstrations nationwide. New Yorkers expressed support for abortion rights, chanting, "We won't go back," and "My body, my choice." And in California, on the West Coast, activists and lawmakers said they were shocked by the court's draft opinion. Leaders and activists pledged to make California a sanctuary for reproductive rights. State legislative leaders have endorsed 13 bills to try and achieve that. Governor Gavin Newsom and top legislative leaders committed to putting an amendment on the November ballot in the state that would enshrine the right to choose in California.
Give your employees the day off so they can come do what they need to be doing.
I believe that California has a tremendous responsibility right now to say that we are a state where you are safe and open and able to get access to the medical procedures you need. We need to fund that ability. It's not enough just to say we're open. We know that this is going to devastate low-income communities, women, trans men.
Abortion is a charged issue for President Joe Biden, a politician who has witnessed up close the changing politics of abortion over the half-century span of his political career. But now, suddenly, abortion rights are central to his administration's hopes of retaining control of Congress in this November's midterm elections. WION's US correspondent Susan Tehrani has this report on Joe Biden's past stance on abortion and the deep divisions of American society.
The revelation that the U.S. Supreme Court will likely overturn Roe Vs. Wade immediately put one of the most polarizing issues of American life at the forefront of the national political debate. And now abortion rights will undoubtedly reshape the dynamics of the upcoming midterm elections. Over the last 40 years, abortion has frequently taken center stage in American politics for voters and political hopefuls alike. In 1982, then-Senator Joe Biden voted to let states overturn Roe v. Wade. A practicing Catholic, he said at the time, quote, "I'm probably a victim or a product, however you want to phrase it, of my background." The bill never made it to the full Senate. But when it came back up the following year, he voted against it. Flip-flop over abortion would become a hallmark of his political career. However, with this leak, although not final, Democrats have embraced the opportunity to force an issue they believe is a political winner for them come November. Here's President Biden on Tuesday.
It concerns me a great deal that we're going to, after 50 years, decide a woman does not have a right to choose within the limits of the Supreme Court decision in case.
President Biden also took the opportunity in a statement earlier to remind voters that the draft underscores the need to elect more pro-abortion rights senators and keep the House majority in order to pass legislation codifying Roe, which he said he would sign into law. However, many Republicans have welcomed the prospect of Roe being overturned, and for socially conservative Americans, the news will likely help mobilize more voters to the polls, many who identify as pro-family and pro-life. A variety of polls have found strong opposition to the prospect of the Supreme Court overturning Roe, but also that views of abortion are complex, with the nation divided on whether abortion is morally acceptable. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.